All right, so look, we all deal with fear, right? It's real, it's loud, and sometimes it's straight up running the show. We're like, what's going on? But you know what? Here's the thing. Excuse me, y'all. I'm getting over a cold. We really take a step back and ask, why am I scared? Like, what's really going on, right? So most of the time, um, fear is like, it's not about danger. It's about like the what is. It's what's throwing us off. It's the questions that we ask ourselves like, what if I fail? What if people judge me? Especially with social media, right? What if I'm not good enough? And just like we just get stuck. So we start hesitating and overthinking and we're playing small and before we know it, we're sitting down on our dreams instead of chasing them. Not chasing. Um, I'm gonna use pursuing. I'm not gonna use chasing. I'm gonna use pursuing. Instead of going instead of well, we're sitting, but instead of pursuing them, we're sitting down, right? We don't have time for that. Not in 2025, not ever. We're done with that, right? So let me put you on game. Fear doesn't have to be the enemy. It's actually just a sign, a signal, a little red flag waving to you, and you're about to step into something big. So instead of letting it get to you and stopping you and preventing you from accomplishing your goals and your dreams, we are we're just going to sorry my phone. We're just going to let it guide you. What if it does guide you? What if it's actually guiding you? You don't let go of your perspective and see outside of yourself. Like pause for a minute and just reflect on where is it leading me to? Think of all the signs that has been thrown your way. What if what if fear was proof that you're growing, you're stretching, you're getting rid of your comfort zone? That's outside of your own perspective, right? So today we're gonna talk about flipping the script. We're gonna talk about fear and how we're not gonna let it run our lives. You ready? Let's get into it. All right, so fear. Well, before I continue, my name is Noma, and welcome to my channel. I am passionate about mindset, and personal development, and business. So, if you're new to my channel, welcome. So, anywho, fear holds us back in more ways than one. I wanted to talk about fear because I, of course, have dealt with fear. I am not a newbie in fear. Not a newbie in fear, especially being in business, being an entrepreneur. I had to, what am I saying? Like I had to not get comfortable with fear because I'm never gonna like, hey fear, you're my sister. Like no, we're like I had to acknowledge that fear is just a part of the journey. God did not give us fear, and if we are chosen to do what He so desire, and I believe that He has equipped us to execute accordingly. And we can't operate in fear expecting God's goodness. And so, we have to get used to fear being there, there are ways that we can overcome the fear. Because at the end of the day, fear is not going anywhere. That's just what it is. So, whether it's fear of failing, or fear of not knowing what to do, or the what ifs, like we mentioned before, um, it's that little voice in our head that says, what if it doesn't work out? But it is. We're going to face it head on. We don't have time for that. So let's start by naming the fears that tend to keep us stuck. First, there's the fear of failure. That's a huge one. Um, we've all been there. We've done it. We're still doing it, some of us. And that's okay. It's okay. But I think we should acknowledge and understand the types of fears, the common fears often that we often come to terms with. It feels like we're failing. It's proof that we're actually good enough. But the truth is, failure doesn't have to define us, but it does teach us. Every person who's achieved something big has a list of failures behind them, including me. I have a huge list, but it's not who I am. It's how I. It's it's often a reminder of what I've done, what I've accomplished, and where I'm going. You know. Next, the fear of judgment. This one is tough because nobody feels like being judged, especially with social media where you're in the comparison, um, with the whole comparison thing. But we wonder, what will people think, right? But honestly, people are way more focused on their own lives than we realize. Then there's the fear of not being ready. That's a huge one, especially for me starting off as a business owner. I didn't think I was ready to be a business owner, let alone start and manage one, let alone become a full blown entrepreneur. You couldn't have told me that I was going to make such a decision to venture off into entrepreneurship. But I did. I'm here and I am so happy. I am grateful to be here. I am still learning, of course. And I didn't want to wait to have everything in order. Me being a, everything in order type person, yeah, no. You know how long that's gonna take. I'm like, no, let's do it, girl. Let's do it. Let's see what happens, and everything just lined up accordingly, which is crazy, you know. So we wait for that perfect moment, right? Having your ducks in order, but guess what? It's never gonna come. Like I said before, confidence comes after action. When you make that first step forward, it's where we become more confident, like, oh, I can do this. It's always in the messiness. It's always in the uh, unprepared. You know what I mean? You've got to start before you feel ready. So how does fear show up in our lives? It's sneaky. It often looks like procrastination. You keep putting things off. Oh, I'm a big one. This is a big this is big for me. Well, enough of me because I have stories for days. But with procrastination, you're maybe waiting for that perfect time. That time of, oh, when I'm ready, when I have all this in order. But maybe it's more of a it'll maybe it's more of overthinking, which is the next one. You get caught up in all the what ifs. What if it doesn't work? What if people judge me? And therefore, you've talked yourself out of it. Right? Sounds familiar, right? And let's not forget about perfectionism, like I mentioned before. So I can relate to a lot of these. I think many people can as well. We want things to be perfect, right? But perfectionism, or operating in perfection, is just a fear in disguise. Remember, done is better than perfect. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get started. Now, why is it so important to face fear? Because fear isn't going anywhere. It's not. It's always going to show up when you're doing something new or something really important. But here's the thing, growth happens when you push towards fear. When you push through fear, you know that you are out of your comfort zone. Like your comfort zone is no longer there. You've pushed past that level. Um, every time you take a step forward, you build that courage, you build that muscle. Just like every time you go to the gym, you, if your goal is to lose weight, um, you are shedding the pounds. You are sweating. You're eating better. That consistency, that pushing past your comfort zone. Like, oh, I'm determined. I'm disciplined to go to the gym because I have a goal to reach. So the more you use it, the more you use your discipline, the more that you step out of your comfort zone, the stronger you get, the stronger it gets. So how can we start seeing fear differently? First, understand that fear is normal. It's not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. It's just a sign that you're stepping up and stepping out of your comfort zone. Second, fear is a teacher. It's there to show you something about yourself. Like every time that you step out of your comfort zone, what do you learn? You often learn something about yourself or something about that action. Maybe it's teaching you that you care deeply about the goal or that you need to build more confidence. And finally, fear can't stop you unless you let it. So when you stop, fear has nothing to work with. But as long as you keep going, keep striving, you are consistent and determined, fear is going to be right there looking at you. And you know what? You look at fear back and be like, what? You thought, right? You thought, and you keep showing up. You keep showing up.